Well, let's see if the picks and bans are where they're going to try and get things adjusted. We're ready to start moving now into Game 2 between SK and Team Rival. In Game 1, Rival looked like the second-place team at Worlds last year, and let's see if maybe SK can upset them a little bit more, like they did with Obey recently.
I mean, Rival are who we thought they are, and SK are, still SK Gaming. They did surprise me specifically that they beat Obey Alliance on Tuesday. But now against Rival, a little bit of a different style that they bring to the table as opposed to Obey Alliance. They really need to find a way to shut down this early game pressure that Callus brings to the table.
Yeah, it looks like Rival are going to be the first pick again for selection, and they're going to go with those same bans. Achilles and Soul have been taken off the table. SK going to be taking that Nuwa off again, so far, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Again, going to ban the Uller.
And it seems that SK Gaming are really fearful about Vote's aggression. They don't want to deal with that level 1 shenanigan Blink Uller, so taking that off the table instantly. Going to leave Nemesis yet again for iceicebaby.
Yeah, and we barely even got a chance to talk about how good he looked for him in the games, too. There were a couple plays where he would lurk around the corner or lurk behind rocks and be able to come over and, in particular, pressure out Lawbster there in the mid lane on the Thoth. And Nemesis is what they picked last time. Thoth is what SK picked last time. They're running it back.
And they're running back this Thoth-Janus combination yet again, but I really want to see this be for Faeles this time around as opposed to Funballer. I want to see the aggression versus aggression. I know Funballer can be aggressive, and everyone knows that Vote is, so I want to see the potential outplay in that dual lane.
Ares going to be selected yet again by Team Rival, and why not? Callus looked excellent on it. As we said last time, though, not guaranteed it's going to be going to Callus necessarily.
True.
Deathwalker can play it, but bring back the Raw as well.
It's a lot of sustain. Like we mentioned, if it got to the late game where SK didn't really get the early game momentum, that Rival has the safer composition between the bolster defense, which also gives crowd control reduction for himself and his teammates, and then the protections. That's what allowed them to really get aggressive. But taking away some aggressive options from Deathwalker is going to be the Cucullin in the secondary ban phase.
Yeah, I believe this is the first difference we've seen so far in these picks bans. They do not want to see Deathwalker piloting this Cucullin yet again, and for good reason. He was really difficult to deal with in Game 1. Also going to take away the Camazot selection, and don't forget they rounded out that first pick phase with the Amaterasu yet again.
It's very true. Could still flex that in the solo lane if they really want to. WhoDaBest played it in game number 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they play it again in game number 2 for him. It's a great support to really get the dual lane advantage. That passive, just amplifying damage. Sobek yet again, though, for Ducky.
Yeah, so far the only real big difference is the Cucullin's been banned away, but you talked a little bit about the WhoDaBest. Oh, that's right. It was Artemis in that slot last time. They tried to stop that from coming through, and this time Vote is happy to take it. So even though it's different pick in the Artemis, it's still something we saw prioritized last game.
I'm expecting a lot of aggression here, and surprisingly enough, a pick we haven't really seen a lot of in Season 5, the Sun Wukong.
Wukong is coming out, man, and he's got plenty of that poke there in lane with that Cudgel Totally, but what is it in particular that's got Deathwalker wanting to go to this, if it is going to be Deathwalker?
I think it's just the ability to do a lot of damage to the backline mages between Thoth and Janus. If you get them out of the fight early, then the rest of the team fight should be relatively smooth.
And that's going to be the Susano to round out the composition for SK. So yet again, it looks like it's not going to be that Janus going into the jungle. Very likely going to be Funball. Taking a look at these two compositions, rounded out the Wukong and Artemis for Rival, and then the double mages for SK. Who you liking?
I still got to give it to Rival here. They have the more consistent standard composition with more margin for error. If they fall behind, they could still come back into it. But if SK fall behind, I don't have high hopes for them.
Well, looking to see if SK can make this double mage work for him here in Game 2. Let's get it back over to Hindu and Tom.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Finch. I think a lot of what they said on the Desi is pretty accurate. One main thing from my point of view, Tom, don't make the mistake of the Pyromancer again. Like, everything up to that Pyromancer point went really well for SK.
Right, and again, and I'm looking at Faeles again. SK won against Obey, and it was because Faeles went 9-1 and 8, if memory serves. He was fantastic, and that was a big part. Faeles has to be the guy in this season if SK is going to succeed. And if he's making decisions like he was in game number 1, SK is going to stay on the bottom.
Well, you guys at home will have a chance to vote, so make sure you do that. Let's get into this game and see how it breaks down. I will say about SK, though, they have a hardcore 10% fan base.
Yeah.
Every single time I've seen the votes, there's always that 10% that go, you know what? still on SK. Still with SK the
Well,
whole time.
it's because of these guys. Listen, like, and I know I've been
The
hard
history.
on Faeles. It's literally my job, but I love Danny. This guy is really funny. When I run my my podcast show, he's always there talking pro meta, talking about the stuff. He's nice and close to the fans. You look at Lawbster and Funballer, who have been here forever. WhoDaBest is kind of the
It's Papa Lob, right? Like,
yeah. WhoDaBest is a nice player to. He's the guy that you go, that can be me someday. He's a ranked superstar
Yep.
that transcended to the pro league. Like, that's everybody can be that guy. There's a lot of, I mean, I love SK the org. It's a historic org. I used to root for their Counter-Strike team in 2003. I love the staff. There's a lot of reasons to like this SK gaming team, but unfortunately, gameplay isn't always one of them.
Well, this game, SK, same lineup outside of Faeles, who's not on the Humbats. He's going to be on the Susano this game. I like the Artemis here. And the reason I'm going to say I like the Artemis, Tom, I feel like this is specifically against this comp SK have run here.
Really?
You can get away with it a little bit more, I feel like, with the Artemis. Especially against a mage. If you crit that mage once
Yes.
with that passive, that's potential lane over. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
that could really capitalize the lane. Double cripple in that lane against Funballer, against WhoDaBest. If WhoDaBest dashes in, and then they can get a trap underneath him, that's a dead Amaterasu.
I love the Artemis pick. I think it's a really strong move. Watching the late game hunters come out, we
Crits back on the menu.
Yeah, crits back on
That's
the
what
menu.
it seems like.
Because hunters are bad in the early game. Hunters are less bad, but still bad in the mid game. And the late game, they're not great. So you have to take those hyper late games. Cyclone Spin's been playing the Shibalanke, the Artemis here.
Hold up. This could be a big one. The collapse is good to blink in. Chains on Lobster. Body blocks as well from Wlfy. Will deny the angle. Even without the body block, he should have been dead. But then Funballer tried to help out, and he goes down too. 2 kills, both to the carries of Rival.
Eesh. And
Bad stuff.
that's just the case with this roster is, or not the players, the choices of character.
But is that some of that not on WhoDaBest for not calling the rotation? Like, hey guys, they're probably at red or purple.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yes,
I don't know. I don't understand
absolutely.
how they got pinched there. That shouldn't have been a thing.
No, absolutely. That was just SK Gaming, caught communication breakdown right there. And I just got finished saying hunters aren't good early,
Yeah.
but the level 1 Artemis is going to, actually do the thing.
Sure. I'm talking about the hunters again, like Tom. We like I said, we early in the last game, we've been here for a long time, and hunters in the old days, they used to be pretty slow to get online because they're hyper carries. At the late game with a full build, hunters still swing.
Listen, if I'm CEO of hi-rez like Matty Pocket and I can do whatever I want to the game, I make hunters miserable until they're 6 slotted, and then they literally 4-shot people and end the game. That's like my dream of what hunters do.
It's kind of what they're at.
And that's almost what's going on. They're not they're not that good late.
I feel like
and
it's
that's
5 or 6
why-
shots. That's what it's like. It's
Sure.
not 4, you know?
Yeah,
5 or 6.
and that's why we're seeing these late game characters. We're seeing the Artemises. We're seeing the Shibalankes, these characters that normally wouldn't come out because when the hunter's there, it's just for late game.
It's also because the mages are more of a threat this year that you've actually seen the solo laners and tanks having to itemize towards some magical defense a little bit more. A lot of the time you used to just soak up physical defense because that protects you against towers and phoenixes and neutral objectives. And in tow, the hunters.
And thus, we see less and less Thorns. Thorns is sort of...
Less Thorns, less Nemean line. I mean,
Yep.
Thorns is still an option. We may see Ducky go for this against the Artemis here today. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and Nemean still fits in just because it's a fantastic item in its own right that just happens to reflect damage.
Yep.
But Thorns has been that item that was almost picked every single game, and now you really assess and you go, maybe I could use a teamfight relic, especially with teleport being so important.
But it wasn't just the solo laners that were getting the Thorns either, and the Nemean line. It was junglers were going for a tankier build, getting
Right.
Thorns, so you would have more tanks in the jungle. Wait a second, big snipe! Once again coming through from Wlfy, made a big impact on Faeles, who's trying to get away. The blink from Vote is there, Panda Cat style.
Oh, Ice Ice,
and a
baby!
blink from Ice Ice.
To the backline, just cut him down. That was...
Click.
I thought the Observer flipped the camera because there were so many team rival members in SK's jungle.
Just collapse on the red
There
again
was
and again.
5 members of rival at the red buff. So that one, I mean, that's you now as SK Gaming have to adapt. You got super surprised with that play 3 minutes ago. You got blinked
Funballer
on.
just trying to get his own purple, man, but he's going to get 3 chains in a row.
He's fine.
And has to beads and portal away. But beads on cooldown means danger lane. Again, 1 ball, and Janus is dead.
Well, Kalis is going to be punished for this very important play from SK Gaming to keep themselves in this one. Graham, they're already down 2,000 gold, and we're 420 into the game.
Blaze it. One thing that they did change, though, this game is SK Gaming going for the double mid start. They had Funballer and Lawbster there, and that was the difference to Game 1. They didn't do that in Game 1. Rival noticed that, invade the red, get 2 kills. Then next red rotation, get another kill. Then the next red rotation, the next purple, they lose Kalis, but they're still doing things. Like, Rival have just abused the situation of SK did this, Rival reacted. And reacted great.
Yeah, no, I mean, Rival, sure, Kalis dying there. It's never good to die, obviously, but he's trying to push the lead. Sure, I get it.
Hey, I'll be upset more if Kalis was behind right now in experience because, you know, whether everyone says an Ares that's behind is pretty much dead, he's not behind. He's actually was already up a level on WhoDaBest.
I like to envision it sort of like as you make plays and garner a lead, you're given a chip. And then you can trade that chip in for like a very aggressive
like a gambling
play.
chip?
The Gambler. Deathwalker gambling with his own life here on the right side. Ducky goes into the ultimate.
Oh, Faeles in a bit of trouble. Has to dash away, but already the cloud has been used by Deathwalker because he wants to dunk and does so. Pulled under the tower, which means a Jingu bang to Faeles' face will get another kill for Rival. And Ducky can only watch on. Maybe not.
Caught up. Deathwalker going to be plucked, but the team isn't here yet. iceicebaby just barely misses Ducky.
Do you know that pluck? I actually think that pluck was the alley-oop trying to set up for the Janus snipe that was coming across the map, which came through. If that would have connected, that would have been dope. But the ult being used means Vote blinks in, gets himself a kill that we didn't catch on camera.
Yeah, the problem. Yeah, exactly. And just that's not even the Observer's fault. The Rival does a great job at this, and it's funny because the Observer usually gets a bad rap when this happens, but teams do this intentionally, where they push 2 team fights at the same time. Not only because of the obvious of the fact that players can't respond, but also it muddies up comms. The other team sitting there like, Funball's going, I'm being aggressed on, and Ducky's dealing with something different.
Well, let's have a little look at exactly what was going on here. Funballer did just use the space and time. Kalis clearly engages, and Vote blinks to the back to try and slow it down. And the boar, and the trap, and the good night, sweet prince.
Did you reference Panda Cat there?
I did earlier on.
Yeah, okay, good.
I did in the first fight when he blinked in mid, not that one, but... You know, Blink Artemis. Vote's been doing a lot of blinks on other characters than Artemis, but the Blink Artemis is Panda Cats.
Yeah,
I'm stating that now.
We've seen the Blink Ula. We've seen the Blink Kamazot's Hunter from Vote. Homie just likes to blink on people these days. And
I think Blink's an amazing relic.
It's so good.
I always thought it was. I mean, Combat Blink was OP as all hell. But I still think Blink is one of the best relics you can get in the game.
Oh, it's so good. If you're smart, you can even use it defensively, getting yourself out of combat for 3 seconds. Obviously, the element of surprise is one of the best tools. Shouts to Sun Tzu. You want to be able to just go, surprise!
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how Team Rival got 2 kills at the beginning of the game.
And the argument is going to be, wait a second, Ice trading out with Lawbster, who got his ultimate off, but couldn't find a target. The whirlwind came through from Faeles, though, which was important. Wlfy looking to try and pick up Faeles, but hanging around means Ducky's going to get a lot of damage off it.
Yeah, Faeles, why are you here? Oh my goodness.
Just juke. He's worried about the abilities, but he's buying time for WhoDaBest to rotate over. Wlfy's still in trouble. Ducky needs some help with this. Amaterasu's not a bad one, but Wlfy should be able to limp back to the tower and sustain back up as Deathwalker goes, I'm good. Like, I'll make sure you don't continue.
Nice job. Nice job from Wlfy threatening Faeles there enough to ensure that he can't actually stick around. Faeles with a very different approach here in game number 2. Game number 1 tried to be the playmaker. Now he's got to be the guy.
Different approach, though. Vote with this full Bloodforge first item. No boots, no stacking item. There's a lot of power on this. There's a lot of sustain on this. And with the passive, it can be useful. This is greedy, man. This is greedy.
So,
not the play, I'm talking the build.
So, remember how I was talking about envisioning you get a chip for your lead? He's
cashed all his chips in.
Exactly. It's basically a ticket to do something crazy when you get a lead, right? And Vote, he's like, all right, you know what? I've got this massive lead. I'm 2 levels up of my mage opponent. I'm going to buy the Bloodforge instead of the Devo gloves that I was probably planning on building because it's instant, it's effective, and the downside is how expensive it is. But I've earned that right to go to the Gucci store.
The only time you see people go to the Gucci store is Assault. Like, Hunters will buy this in Assault as first time. You won't see it generally in a Conquest game. Fails his beads are down. Fails his life is over as the snipe just tied him a new.
Oh, Danny boy, 2, 3, and 0 here for the jungler. And like I said, so I hold
Gold
that.
Fury's in a bit of trouble here. We'll go to Rival. WhoDaBest a little bit too late into this. Now his ultimate's been used too. Callus ultimate on cooldown here, so he won't be able to follow that up this time round. But Rival get, once again, what they needed, what they wanted.
And I started talking about it before. The Hunbats is a setup man type character. Use those ultimates to really assist the team fight. Fails on the Susano. Now, he does have a little bit of control and setup factor there for Lawbster, but much more importantly, he is more of a true assassin in the early game. And so I like that he's a lot more active than he was in game number 1, but things aren't going his way. Faeles needs to keep making these plays. He's a little bit behind, so he doesn't have those chips to invest in some extra ganks, but he needs to catch up and stay active because the Susano that doesn't make ganks or actually involve himself in the game is just useless.
This is still a very similar situation to game 1. Nice snipe from Wlfy to steal those away and get a bit of damage off too. But it will give SK an idea that there's a ward around that area, so that might get rewarded. But rather than just continue what they did game 1, they got a lead in game 1 and rolled with it. They didn't let up the pressure. Game 2, same thing. They got a lead and look at them go.
Deathwalker in the enemy jungle, forced into the combat cloud here. Faeles covering left option, Ducky covering the right one. Gonna collapse on the Monkey Man.
Does on Wukong. After all, he will get away with the transformations back to safety. It's always interesting about what selection you make when you come out those transformations too. You're never going to go Tiger, but sometimes Ox, sometimes Bird, dependent on the situation.
Right, I mean, Bird is when you're clear to go. Very dangerous to go to the Bird form against the Sobek. That charge prey is quick enough to catch you. So you go the Ox form where you're just going to knock people up.
Get out of my way, pretty much is how it's going to be.
Yeah, just move.
Talon on the left is about to go down, but Vote is positioned to blink in. I can just see it from the way he was looking and trying to hide around this corner and look for the opportunity. His blink's available. Beats are up for Funballer, as is his ult, so this wouldn't be a guaranteed kill by any stretch of the imagination, but he's just keeping Fun completely pinned under his tower.
Yeah, Kieran, this entire set has just been sitting there. The Janus pick, like I said, when you see teams and players do stuff like this, especially repeat it in game number 2 after the way game number 1 went, you might scratch your head. But again, Funball is a fantastic Janus, take my word for it, and guaranteed this is something that SK has won scrims with. This is a tried and true strategy.
Yeah, they practiced this stuff, and honestly in game 1 it didn't do anything wrong. It really didn't. The mistake came at the Pyromancer, so all SK did in their comp was like, listen, we messed up. I can almost tell what they said. They're like, we messed up at that Pyromancer. Let's run it back.
Yep.
We don't let the Humbats pick so much. Let's switch that up a little bit. But everyone else was, fine and dandy. Let's just go with it again.
Yeah, and for me, the Hunbats pick was actually really, really choice there. It just wasn't... The execution just didn't happen. Faeles wasn't able to find those ultimates, wasn't able to maneuver throughout the team fights effectively. Faeles
He'll get away.
Chunked.
iceicebaby's going to go away from it. WhoDaBest still gathering up, looking for Wlfy, who ages it. Blinking from Vote with the ball coming into play too. Wlfy gets Funballer. Lawbster's about to fall too. Unfortunately, Wlfy getting both of those kills. And that was a time, it was an interesting one. A big fight over those oracles.
There's 11 kills in total. Wlfy's name has been on 9 of them. He's playing this raw, and I am afraid of this raw.
Well, Icei's getting confident now. WhoDaBest in no man's land right now, and it's not a good place to be. He's going to have to be on an adventure. Has got the mobility, but so has iceicebaby, so expect to see a nice little game of run around the map.
This is where I just wish we had the rights to. Oh, is that the hamster dance song?
No, it's not. I like the fact that Iceice is actually still farming, however. But Iceice may lose that blue buff. WhoDaBest does steal it away, and Iceice has to dip away because Sobek's there. Deathwalker turns up, fighting against a warrior and a guardian, but that warrior is out of mana. Still mobile, obviously. Got to be careful about the rotations coming in, because as I look to the top of the map, you can see Susano is nearby. Deathwalker's going to be careful here.
Yeah, Faeles is going to come over here, but Deathwalker's on his own side of the map. He's totally fine. He's a son of Wukong. He's got... Oh, he doesn't have the Glad Shield, actually. He has a Genji's garb.
So worried about the magical more than anything else. Well, I mean, Thoth, Janus, and Sobek, you go against your lane opponent.
Well, exactly. This is for the lane opposition. Sobek's going to obviously hit the player with the Sickening Strike.
Yep.
And Deathwalker on the Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong is the definition of a spam ability character.
Sure.
You want to lay down the Jingle Bang, hit the Master's Will. You're spamming those abilities, and you walk into Ducky's damage so you can get them off more often.
Yep.
This is a very... it's not a standard item, but perhaps it should be for Sun Wukong.
And that's why kind of like a lot of the roles and the classes, I should say, have different types of gods in them. Like inside the class. Like you've got ability-based ones and ones that are not so focused on abilities.
I very famously don't... I think that classes are important for newer players to jump on board,
Sure.
but once you understand the game, there's a huge difference between Freya, Ao Kuang, and Poseidon.
Sure.
And that's before we get into Nox and Isis.
Well, I mean, if you look at the, like, just on base of, like, Rama versus, I don't know, let me pick one, Chiron. Rama versus Chiron is two completely different hunters. One very ability-based, one definitely more so. Even though they both got long range, sure.
Rom literally just shoots people. Chiron has a cleanse.
Yeah.
Like, think about
A cleanse and an AoE, attack that will reach you from downtown after connected. Gold Fury started up again for the second time from Rival. They got the first one relatively easily. WhoDaBest is here, but look at the damage coming through so quick. WhoDaBest has got to go in to try and contest. Can't do it on his own, and his ult's down, and guess where he's going? Back to the danger zone, where a snipe follows it up.
Oh, man. Wlfy gets another one. 505.
Oh,
Ducky is likely to fall here. It's just a matter of who's going to pick that
Oh,
up.
they did pick up Callus towards the end. That did hit, but Lawbster paid with his life to Deathwalker, who collapsed on him. Funballer can't get involved. He's just going to sit on the wings here. Ducky already used his ultimate, already down below half health, and the rotation's coming from Vote with that Blood Forge.
I like how everyone died, but the guy that I said was likely to die.
It's Sobek, man. He's got a little bit sustained.
Oh, man. He just built up those sausages and walk away.
Sausages? Oh, the passive meter. Oh,
I had to explain this totally last time.
Yeah, I've
it's the
heard of
passive
it.
meter. It looks like sausages.
I was like, where's he going with sausages? You talk about food again. It's been 2 years since you've been talking about food, Tom. Come on, we've got to get past it now. We're older. We've matured.
We are Waldorf and what's his name, Statler?
Yeah, that's pretty much us. Through the years of how this has gone.
One of my favorite pictures is us at Worlds leaning in the back row just with the fans, and we just look like the old Muppet Men. It's exactly what we look like.
I mean, to be fair, we were listening. I'm probably listening to Bart and DM Cast going,
GG!
that sounds about right.
You want to do that at the end of the set?
What,
You want to
say
scream
GG?
GG?
No, I want to scream F6.
But they're not going to have...
I know, but like it feels like an F6. They should have F6'd a while ago.
I mean,
not in this game specifically. I think there's still Thoth and Janus in this game, Tom, right? With
they're
those
down
elements.
10 grand for really no reason at 16,
Sure.
17.
But the way everyone goes, one Siller ultimate can change the game. One Janus or Thoth snipe on a fire giant can change the game too.
And I think that's one of the bigger points here in Season 5.
Fire the back. iceicebaby went in with his ultimate. Has to double dash away. WhoDaBest invested the ultimate there. Space and time hit iceice too, but he's still alive. 2 ultimates already down. Ducky getting very low, and now he's going to get pulled back into danger of the snipe from Wlfy. He's combining with Callus every time.
Callus has been fantastic this game. I have been shouting out Wlfy. And to be fair, Wlfy probably has a very similar stat line, even if Callus isn't setting him up. But he absolutely is. Deathwalker here versus the world.
I love what he's doing, though, because Deathwalker's going aggressive to try and make SK bite and attack him.
Yeah.
Because if they slow down to attack him and don't keep running, the rest of Rival will right there to be like, I can blink if you want. Both's like, yo, you want my blink? I can come in and get a kill.
I mean, just gold is one thing. Oh, WhoDaBest going to filter in here. This is the time
Lobster's
if he
got
wants
ult.
to do it.
Lobster's got ult. Keep an eye on that Thoth. He's going to stay out of the way and look for the steal, but he won't get a chance to. Unfortunately, he just couldn't get in range. The front line is now being pushed back, and Lobster's out of position.
Oh, Deathwalker actually could get collapsed on, but I'm just going to say a couple of numbers real quick. 17 to 14, 16 to 12, 17 to 14, 17 to 13. Those are your damage dealers and the level disparity between them.
Blinking from iceice, looking for Ducky, can't find it. Instead, he'll just chop at Funballer while the rest of his team get the tier 2 tower after the Phoenix.
This is the strategy that I was talking about in game number 1 that I saw Splice do, is the fact that they are just trying to win early. Because what happens here in Season 5 is that when teams find themselves down around the 20, 25 minute mark, they stalemate. They stall. You just go, all right, they're beating the hell out of us. It's 25 minutes in. If we stretch to another 5 to 10, we'll have 6 items and we can take them. At 18 minutes, you need to stall for 20 minutes. That's not on the menu.
Well, WhoDaBest is now dead. Blink in and ball used from Vote. Ice followed that up to secure the kill. No frontline support. It's only Ducky who doesn't have his and Faeles has no beats.
No life either. Vote puts number 18. Team Rival. Legal now, pushing the mid lane.
Phoenix will fall down here in the mid. And that could just be a push from Rival here because all the ultimates down outside of Lobsters, really. Ducky's has his available in the fountain room. No minions, a little bit risky, but they do have the sustain from the Raw. So just keep an eye on that.
Wait one wave of minions and push in.
Yeah.
That's my call because, again, leverage the lead that you have. This lead will only shrink, not because Rival does poorly, but because the gold will and the experience will just eventually even up. That's what SK, but like I said, Team Rival pushing so early kind of takes that away because SK would have to wait and stall for another like 10 minutes, Graham.
You know what I'm waiting for this year now, Tom? I'm waiting for Rival versus Energy again. I want to see Rival Energy. I want to see Rival Dig some more. Those are the two that are going to be the real telling point of who's on top. At the moment, all we know is Energy can beat Dig. Ducky still looking at Wlfy, but he's on his own. Like he put some investment in. 900 on a tank.
Wow.
Blech.
Wlfy, Tony Hawk, baby. Ice baby. 20 kills into mid.
20 kills. Almost able to drink.
SK Gaming with 3.
But going back to what I was saying, I mean, the whole Rival, Energy, and Dig, I think this could be rock, paper, scissors. I actually have a feeling it's rock, paper, scissors between the three. Energy beats Dig, Dig beats Rival, Rival beat Energy. That's kind of how I'm expecting it to go.
I don't like the rock, paper, scissors analogy.
You know?
No, because there's so rock comes out on frame 1.
Right.
Right? But because of that, you can option select into paper. And you can kind of cheat your way out there. So rock, paper, scissors is not as even in this game as you think.
Is that where we're going on this cast, really? Like to the analogy of how you display rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, because like I said,
okay.
So you call it Rochambeau.
What we'll do, no, we don't. What we'll do then is we'll call it a triangle, right? It's a triangle of death that all three will beat each other.
I'm much happier with that.
There you go. That's the best way I can put it. The top of the point is Energy, the right point is Rival, the left point is Dig.
I think the best...
And one will beat the other. It's like a circle.
I think the best way to put it would be in Pokemon terms. Fire beats grass beats water.
Get me
beats
out.
Fire.
Ball comes out, votes on his own, but he's taking on the whole squad. Can he get a kill before he dies is the answer. And yes, he can. Wlfy with the assist was big. Ice came back and took out Lawbster. Wlfy gets a double. And Vote did most of the baiting himself. You seen a hunter bait like that? And it wasn't really a bait. It was like, all right, I'm out of position. The only way out of this is to fight. And he got reinforcements before they could kill him.
Papa Lob gets the kill. That's exciting. Like to see players getting that. But like I said, I mean, there's no... Team Rival shouldn't have let the foot off the gas. Okay, good. Here you go.
Here we go. Funballer is alive. He's the only one up for the next 10 seconds. 5 minions are here. Can Funballer defend on his own? No space and time.
And no time or space either. Titan already down about half. Wlfy, where you at, bud? Where you at, Wlfy? Where you at, Wlfy?
Wlfy's like, guys, we should just take left. It's easier for us to take that than try and push the mid lane down. And the guy's like, no, we can end. Wlfy's like, I'm not going to be there. I might as well just push left.
Wlfy's sitting there like, hey, guys, I'm just breaking down the wave.
He's that rank player that's having a good game that wants it to continue because he keeps hitting all these snipes.
Yep.
So he's like, hey, I can actually look good this game. So I'm going to get in the highlight reel more and more with my snipe. So let's just keep this game going, you know?
Building his own personal resume.
Meanwhile, SK's like, I hate you, Wlfy. Just end the game. Like, come on.
Yeah, Wlfy certainly having a ball of a game. 9-0 and 11. 5-1 and 13 for iceicebaby as well. But again, I would be remiss if I did not mention Collis, who's been absolutely crushing it.
It's been solid, yeah.
Absolutely crushing it.
He's had a very good 6 months for himself. Vote too, to be fair. Vote's build is something that I'm definitely interested in. The Vote, obviously we discussed the Bloodforge, but he did get the Magi's Cloak, which it makes sense if you're not going to go for a Bees and go for an Aegis to absorb damage instead. But there's no crit in that build. It's attack speed, rely on a bit of crit here and there, and just use the steroid that Artemis has in the kit anyway.
I don't care what he builds.
Doesn't matter at this point?
It hasn't mattered in this game at all. Because the numbers have just been that high. He's had a 5-level lead over his opponent, quote-unquote, Hunter. That's, I mean, if he built all tank, it'd be different. Sure. But just close your eyes,
I mean, look at
go to the offense column.
Just don't. don't look at rivals builds and think you should be doing this in every game. That's all I'm saying. Because like, some Wukong's got a Blood Forge. You've also got crit on Ice-Icebaby. A tiny bit of crit as well.
That's adapting style. He likes the crit Nemesis.
Just that one bit of crit, though, in that build? I don't know about that. Middle Phoenix going to fall down. Fire Minion still tearing down that mid lane. Right-hand Phoenix could be looked at next, because you can see that with the bird from Deathwalker going in. He's happy to tank that up. The rest of the team, though, well, Wlfy specifically will be looking for more kills.
iceicebaby trying to deal with the middle lane. The rest of the squad on the right-hand side. Phoenix going to go down nice and easy. SK are going to have a hard time fighting into this one. 25,000 gold down.
Yeah, real rough situation. Wlfy's looking for the big highlight play, and he finds it. He picks up the kill on Faeles as he was trying to get away from the aggression from Ice. And now with the front liners being down, it's time for the back lines to fall too.
Wlfy, this set is the MVP. Wlfy, if you give it a Callus, I'm not offended, but Wlfy, this set. Game 1 and Game 2. Lawbster does a good job of trying to play D, but this is Team Rivals all the way to Sunday. Fantastic, fantastic performance from Wlfy. This guy had a really impactful negative moment at Worlds. Might have lost his team the entire tournament. And what does he do coming into Season 5? Turn up like the best we've ever seen of him.
I thought you were going to say doesn't play Poseidon.
That too.
That helps, right? One thing about that set, though, is it tells a lot about Obey and where Obey are at the moment. Even though they were involved in that, SK did beat Obey last time we saw them. So SK aren't right off the bottom, but Rival made SK look very simple.
Very, very true. Very, very, very true.
Who do you guys at home think was MVP for that set? Tom's had his say. More than likely Wlfy from his point of view. Guys had a pretty good time too, but Mr. Finch is standing by to break it down on the desk with the wonderful Annette.
Thank you, Mr. Hatfield, for throwing it over to me so cordially. I do have Anatoly here with me as well. We're going to be talking about that strong set that we just saw just now come out from Team Rival. They looked really good. That's my official analysis.
That's putting it very lightly.
Yeah.
They looked elite, honestly.
They
Only
did.
losing to Dignitas so far in this split. It's no surprise here that they come up against the struggling SK and dominate them in 25 minutes, both in Game 1 and Game 2. Honestly, it was the trifecta of blinks coming from Rival
Scary.
that really dominated everything. It was specifically also vote on the Artemis. We saw them ban it away in Game number 1
Yes.
instead of the Cucullin. They realized Deathwalker's Cucullin too much to handle, and then they're like, all right, let's just handle votes Artemis, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, we've got our own little room in the back here where Toll and I were watching the games, and when that early three-man gank where they get 2 kills ends up happening, you can hear Toll and I both go, oof. Like it was not the start that they were looking for, and Rival end up looking very good after that, and they kind of never let that pressure up that they got. That was before the 2-minute mark when they got that double kill.
That's right. They body blocked Lawbster. They didn't allow him any sort of movement. He just died very quickly. And then they did it again, like 2 minutes later, the triple blink at 3.5 minutes into the game. And then the blink from Vote repeatedly onto Faeles as well. They forced out his beads early on in the game. At the 9-minute mark, they pulled him with Callus's ultimate, and then into the Searing Pain from Wlfy, which set up them up for a gold fear. It was just a chain of events that led Rival to such a dominant victory.
They did look strong, but chat, you all did eventually select your MVP, and it was Wlfy that you all selected. They're in the mid lane on the Raw yet again, this time 12-0-12, 16,000 damage. I mean, yes, he was following up on Callis for a lot of that, but there were plenty of shots. My boy was just hitting. No, not even looking for kills, just like, can I just put out some damage?
Yeah, and then just playing this chibi Raw skin as well. So every time he would use that ultimate, it was, saying bye right before you get somebody.
Bye.
A little cocky, but you know what? For good reason.
Yeah, and he looked excellent on it. And not just the raw ult that you're seeing here now, like the Searing Pains, but they were able to play around that sustain a good bit too. They could play a little more aggressively. They could come back towards Wlfy's heels.
And with how ahead that Vote was at the beginning of the game, going for that first item, Blood Forge, no mobility, no stacking items. This is the confidence of not Season 3 Rival, or Cyclone GG that, made that transition into Season 4. But even the end of Season 4 Rival, just looking like a whole new roster.
Yeah, and they used their lead very well. They bought maybe some expensive items you don't buy all the time, but that would exacerbate their lead. But we got to hear from Deathwalker recently. This is what that Rival team does. They kind of have a good time when they play, win or lose.
I mean, I'm sure that they're just giggling when everyone triple blinks onto the same 2 targets, finding kills repeatedly.
Yeah. 3 blinks to start the game off. That's hard to deal with if you're SK, who had finally got a bit of a rebound there up against Obey, but instead ended up running up against that wall of SK. But that is only set 1. Remember, this is our longer day. We've got 3 EU sets for you, so make sure you stick around. It's going to be Energy and Mouse coming up next.